Coming to you from UBN Studios in Burbank, California. You're listening to the Unsugarcoated Podcast with your host, Ollie Alanius.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of your favorite social good podcast, right? Unsugarcoated with Alia. We are so happy to be here, and I'm excited to have another amazing conversation with another one of my favorite guests today. Let's see, starting off, we just passed Giving Tuesday. There's so many ways that you guys can support Unsugarcoated Media. Be sure to check out the website, buy the products. We have hoodies, we have the books, we have amazing merchandise there, and everything is a tax-deductible donation. So I just wanted to give that reminder because we had it, and we do things. Follow us on Unsugarcoated Media on Instagram, on our social media platforms, and stay tuned. So today's conversation, let's see, I'm gonna describe the person I have as a guest. I'm gonna give you some words that make me think of her: strong, smart, resilient, and fearless. So be excited for that. And because we talk a lot about survivorship of trauma and what we go through and how we become better versions of ourselves despite the things that we go through, beauty and how we care for ourselves is part of that journey, not just outside, but inside, and and also in general stepping into who we are as individuals. We're also going to talk about female leadership, and since she herself is a female leader, my special guest, we're going to talk about some of the challenges that we face and what do we got to overcome to really rise up and show the world what we've got. So I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the intro. So with that, Miss Christy Buss. As a successful dancer, choreographer, actress, and business owner, Christy Buss has traveled the world, met top athletes and celebrities, and helped thousands of her fellow performers, all while being in the limelight. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, Christy grew up dancing at her mother's dance studio. She got her big break when she won the ABC television special All-American Girl in 1979 and moved to Los Angeles, California. She then became a Los Angeles Rams cheerleader and a dance captain, which led to numerous parts in commercial and film roles over the years. She's choreographed for shows like Passion, Days of Our Lives, and more. Her journey with dance continued as she choreographed for the LA Sparks and the LA Clippers and became a proud member of the Los Angeles Lakers family. Yes, that Buss family. In El Segundo in 1993, she launched the Studio Art of Dance, where she has taught thousands of small children to senior citizens ballet, gymnastics, jazz, tap, and more over the years. Now she is releasing her new line of skincare products, HEDO, and sharing her secrets for youthful glowing skin and enjoying a happy, healthy life. Christy is known to share her insights on Hollywood, beauty, and wellness for reality TV and her own YouTube channel. And today she's here to do that as well, to discuss the new skincare line. And like I said, we're going to be talking about those challenges that female leaders face in the workplace. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together. Please welcome Miss Christy Buss.
Wow, that was really, really nice, Alia. Thank you so much. I didn't even know you knew all that.
I mean, I do.
You're
incredible.
You did your work.
Truth be told, there was a picture. I was looking for some pictures of you when you were younger. You have such an amazing background. But first, before we get into that, I do want to ask you, how are you? And we have a friend in studio.
Max. I thank you for letting me have Max. He's my anxiety boy. And so as long as he's sitting next to me, he's really good. So thank you for letting me have my Max with me today.
Oh,
so
no,
I appreciate that.
It's a pleasure. We love it. We understand. I understand. Anyone who doesn't know, I get nervous still, so I really get it. But I love it and appreciate how was your holidays?
It was really good. I'm by myself. My boyfriend's overseas playing ball, so we FaceTimed and had a little toast and a little dinner together, right. FaceTiming, so it was really special. Of course, my family's in St. Louis, and I get to talk to them, but I usually go to St. Louis in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I'm leaving next week, and so we're celebrating kind of both things then.
Right.
So that'll be nice, but I like my alone time, and when everybody's gone, it just feels good to just take care of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you have a dream, you have a life that a lot of people dream of. You've done, you've had good health, family, friends, and you're a successful entrepreneur. When people come to you now and they're, they're like, what do you do? What is your response?
Well, I can say that I was a business owner 28 years ago when really no women were really having their own business, especially a sole individual running a business. And that was very different for me. And I only did that because my mom did it even long ago, before any woman was anywhere but the home and taking care of the children, and the dad worked. So my mom was an entrepreneur way back when I don't even think the word entrepreneur was out. And I watched her. I watched every move she made on how she ran her studio. And it was really intriguing to me because, it wasn't just the dance part. It was like bulletins, and she'd get this printer and had to ink it up and just turn it, and then the bulletins would roll out. And I just learned so much from watching her, just be this unbelievable woman and taking care of her own business, that I just took that all in. And it made me be the leader that I am, and who I am in the business that I was, which was the same business as owning a dance studio. And I always said to her, I will never do that, because I saw how hard she worked.
Right.
But it was just innate in me. And I knew at some point when somebody came to me and said, hey, can you teach some classes? And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I own a dance studio. So it just came out of just the, me knowing that I'm a good dancer, and I've been around a lot of places to grow and be the best dancer, that it was my turn to teach.
Right.
And so that's what I started doing.
I love that. I feel you bring up the point, not many women, especially from perhaps our generation, had female role models who were leaders.
Absolutely not. There wasn't. Like, seriously, like, you got to remember when 28 years ago, it was like 1990. I mean, computers were just starting. Okay, so there was no websites to start a business. I knew nothing. There was no such thing as a website. There was no such thing as even being on the computer to work out of that. So my job was to get in the newspaper or go door to door and put flyers out. So, hey, you had to find a way to make your business work. And I knew I could do it because I knew I was good at what I did. But that's not the business side. But then it only took word of mouth.
Right.
At that time, It only took word of mouth. And so that's how I really got a lot of students. And it just took time to grow, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, up to 400 at some time.
Wow.
And I was really at my peak at that time. It was really strong. And then, of course, girls, which is a good thing, got to play more sports, which kind of hindered my business because soccer was huge. So it was days a week, and then on the weekend they play games. So I kind of went down from there, but I learned how to even adjust to that. So you learn and grow from things that are just changing in the world too, and that's letting girls get to play basketball and soccer and all the other sports that they got to play. Lacrosse. They come in with their bags with all these things. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I never did that when I grew up. I just danced.
Right.
There was no other choice. It's like brownies, Girl Scouts, or dance, right? So it was way different. But, you have to change with what's going on in the world. And so that was very easy for me because it was almost like a challenge, and how am I going to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel that's a wonderful representation of what women can be and, what we can do. My mother was a business owner as well, and I was 7 watching her. I would actually proofread her brochures and stuff and actually catch errors. I was 9 years old catching errors that
I needed
adults
you.
didn't catch.
Let me tell you. I had some of my parents do the same thing to me. It's like, Chris, you better look at this one more time. I'm like, okay. But you were doing that at 9 years old? Oh, my goodness.
And catching errors that the printers didn't catch. And my mom was like, well, I'm just going to have you look at it first before we send it to the printers, But I think those experiences really shape what you're speaking to, this idea of like, but why not? Why can't I do it, And speaking to some of the challenges that women face, that female leaders face, one of them is being treated equally.
Yeah.
So, I think in dance, but as a business owner, I know you spend time around a lot of male entrepreneurs as well. And as you have within your business, have you ever experienced or have you ever observed that, because women are held to a different standard than men?
Well, in the dance world, it's different because, there's not a lot of men that probably own a dance studio, but it's maybe the landlord side and the brick and mortar side that, I couldn't just go in and get the lease
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where I had to have Johnny at some point, like, hey, can you help me here?
Right.
Because they didn't believe that a woman could,
Sustain
actually
a
pay the
business.
rent. So yeah,
crazy.
I had those challenges, but it was stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily my side of the business, but it was the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Or people trying to take advantage of you because you're a
Oh
woman.
yeah, definitely.
So was it part of your journey to say, I'm not going to be taken advantage of and I will be treated equally?
Well, my motto is no negativity, right? So if there's a challenge and it's on that kind of thing, I find a way to make it into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever challenges there are, whatever is going wrong, I find the right in it, and I make it work.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And it's interesting because even within cheerleader, like you were in sports, you were a female athlete.
Yes.
Because a cheerleader is
Yeah.
a female athlete,
They
for
are.
those of you who don't want to recognize that. You get up there and do some flips and
Well,
turns. And
it takes a dance background
Yes.
or any kind of,
Physical.
athletic position to do those things. I mean, that's a big deal.
Right.
And to still not be recognized as that.
Right.
Because they only look at you as a body figure, probably like rah, rah, rah on the sidelines. But yeah, we are athletes.
Yeah.
And that's very important too. And that's maybe a challenge
Right.
that people don't recognize.
Right. And do you feel good? And like, were you able to like get out of that? Because some people then get pigeonholed in that. But it seems like
Hey,
you were
when you
able
know
to
your
break free.
sports, when you know your sports and you can tell people that you know so much and because you do, then they don't really say anything after that. When you can answer a lot of questions when it comes to the game or who's this or who's that, and you know your sports, then they don't talk anymore.
You know what? You hit on something. So look, women out there in the world.
Yeah.
Look, I love sports genuinely. My grandfather, I used to sit every Sunday on the couch with him, Niners. I'd watch him yelling at, Joe Montana, go, go. And I'm like that. When I watch sports now and I really enjoy the game, I also think the commentary is funny. The penetration, that tight end, it's funny listening to sports if you have a naughty mind like I do.
I don't know if I ever did that, but okay. I'll start
Maybe I
going
watched
that
too
way.
much. You were more basketball, I'm more football.
Okay.
It's like you get a lot more terminology that I just sit there and kind of giggle at. But to your point, I will say when I'm around men and I speak on sports,
They think you're dumb.
they're like, but in any way of like, oh yeah, that guy's doing pretty good. You see, it's college, he's scoring. They're just like blown away.
Yeah.
It actually gives you so much more street cred.
Oh yeah,
Such street cred.
You get to pull your chest up and like, yeah, I know my stuff, and
Right.
that's a big deal because most guys don't go there.
Right.
And that's why this is a great point that we're bringing up, that women know their stuff.
Yes.
And that there's more sportscasters now who are women.
Yes.
And they're doing the games, they're doing the color, and they're doing just on the game side, it's women.
Yes.
And now there's women referees too, playing, in football and basketball. So we're coming around, and that's because we know our stuff.
Yeah, slowly, and we bring value, and slowly but surely, it's. Kobe was obviously on that with the girl dad and giving recognition. I feel that it was a tremendous thing that he was doing, and I just hope a lot of the guys carried that on and embraced that.
Johnny Buss ran the Sparks, which is the women's team.
Okay.
Loved that so much more than being a part of the Lakers.
Right.
He loved having the women's team. And that was so intriguing at the time because, that was a big thing to start too. That was a long time ago. Actually, they're celebrating their 25th year. So, when Johnny started, nobody was thinking women's basketball in the NBA.
No.
So I was around it. So yeah, the challenge of women doing whatever they want has been around.
Right.
And
right.
we're slowly getting there to be on top.
Yeah, I feel like you had a very interesting perspective being in sports and around the people and in your family. And yet, obviously, there's a great culture there. There's a great culture that's just done so well in certain aspects. But I'm sure like any organization, they have their flaws. Everyone does.
Of course.
Advocating on their own behalf. So I find that female leaders have a hard time. We touched a little bit on this, but advocating, ambition in men is considered a sign of strength.
Right.
We get ambitious and suddenly, oh, you're just extra. Oh, you're doing too much. And I've personally come to say, no, my ambition is a positive attribute. And I reject your notion that I'm being too much. In your life too, you had multiple business ventures that you've gone into.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay? I have a question. Have you ever put a lid on your ambition to make another person feel better about themselves?
No.
Good.
So that now that I'm into, like, I revolved from my dance into skincare, and that's because I helped children for so long. I was giving, and at some point I knew I wanted to do something for myself.
Right.
And with that, so now in this new category of business and entrepreneurship, I'm dealing with more men.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I need to tell you, like, I need to be strong. I need to be like, this is my baby. You can't tell me what to do. So I'm hiring you. So if I don't like this, then we need to get it done this way. And that's never been the way I was, because that was usually me to my kids that I'm teaching.
Right.
Now I'm holding that strength that I had like that in my new position, which is the owner and CEO, which is hard to then delegate that to talking to men.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different.
Right.
But I need to stand my ground.
Yes,
And,
I agree.
And when you do that, you show strength, yeah, and they respond if you believe in it. It's when you don't believe in what you're saying that they can come and tackle that.
Yeah, they can shake you.
Yeah,
And
they
we're
can
not
shake
trying
you
to-
is a good word.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
we're not trying
Yeah.
to put men, throw men under the
No.
bus. But
No.
look, it's the truth. It's the truth. I'm not trying to be
We
mean, but
need
it's-
them.
Yeah, we
need-
do.
I feel like you only get better when you congregate and you do things with everyone.
Agreed.
So we need them, and
Yeah.
and that's the same thing when it comes to my relationship. And he's working with me on it, and he has his 2 cents. But in the big picture, he says it's up to you. But I believe in this.
Agreed.
So that I need that feedback. So it only develops you as a better person and a bigger way to handle your future with the business.
I love that. It's true. And, you speak to it does cross over. When you learn to stand up in business, you learn to stand up for yourself in your personal life. Sometimes it's the other way around, whichever way it goes. But at the end of the day, you have to learn to stand up for yourself. You have to say,
It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard because we're like, we're feminine and we're just trying to be, sweet and just like, yeah. But there's sometimes where you go, no,
Yeah.
we got to get this done now.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
I
okay.
love that. I appreciate that. Another thing that you had talked about too, and this is trusting our own voices as well as the other people. Women often must push through internal and external barriers to find the confidence to express ourselves, right? Like you just said, there's the external of what people are doing to us, and then there's the internal of do I trust them? So, I feel like also there's a level of it can be a challenge to trust people.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know, but it's necessary.
definitely, well, I say you don't trust anybody
Right.
until you do your due diligence.
Yes.
So I'm only saying that because it happened to me, and
Right.
I trusted somebody, and I lost a lot of money. With that, it's because I didn't do my due diligence,
Yeah.
and so that's a lesson for me. It's not right on his part, but it should have been done differently.
Sure.
And I learned a lesson from that because it wouldn't have happened if I did the right things,
Right.
in my opinion. So you learn from mistakes, right? That's a leadership role too. And to not be afraid to not know is a leadership situation.
Yes.
So we're just building our confidence through our mistakes. And that's okay.
Yes.
I mean,
very
we
true.
all fail. And if we fail, it's how we get up and how we move forward to just make ourselves better, as well as our business, as well as our brand. It's okay
Yeah.
because we're not perfect.
No, I know. I tell people, I don't need you to think I'm perfect. I just need you to see the perfection in you. In that sense, we're not
like
perfect
that.
people, but we are perfect when you show up. The resilience, like I said, you're smart, strong, fearless, resilient. You got knocked down, you get back up, you fail forward.
Plenty of times.
I love that concept. Denzel Washington, everyone go watch it. But failing forward, because we do make mistakes, and it's okay. I think what you brought up too. So there's you are a CEO and you have female or people within your organization, and trusting that if they bring an idea or a concept, a lot of people tend to say, well, I'm the brainiac, I'm the one in control, and so they can find it difficult to allow in other ideas or concepts if they but But to what you speak of also, yeah, a lot of times, with any leadership, you've got to do that due diligence. And when it comes to financial matters, proof is in the pudding. I need to talk to somebody that you've actually benefited. I need to see the work that you've done for someone else.
Thank you, Alia.
And verify that.
I wish you were around for me to hear that from you. But it did not happen that way. Because I trusted. I just believed. And I just, it's just, you got to do it. And, and you almost have to have that other person around to make sure you ask those questions before you go forward.
Right.
Even as a CEO, like somebody coming in and that's why I think you have mentors and you have coaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of things that the mistakes can be really big.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can survive from them. That's the thing. It's just,
I'm a survivor because that was a big mistake.
Right.
And just trusting even the person that recommended it.
Right.
And just.
But it's one I know you won't make again.
I tell you that I can't let that happen again.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So that was a big one.
Building alliances. So, we talk about, it's interesting because I'm curious to your perspective on this. Men learn to play the game really good, right? Let's go to a basketball game. Let's go to a football game. Let's go play golf. That's why women need to know sports, right? I find that just networking, men play the game really well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
because
so,
they've been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We've been at home, supposedly, like we don't own businesses and we don't do things, so we just stay home, and that's what they do. They go on these business trips, and then they meet up and go to games and golf and all that. Where we never we're doing that, right? But this is the world is changing.
Yes.
So we are becoming very strong in this whole world of what we're doing, and we need to find good alliances and good ways to meet up and do things. What do you do? Because I would like to know, because that'll help me.
Yeah. I mean, well, but you've seen people build beneficial alliances and strategic relationships. I mean, in all of our industries, it transcends that they're very highly collaborative most often. Like even companies, they think, people maybe, but the people at the top are collaborating. The CEOs of this company is collaborating with that. That's how, acquisitions and all these things take place. I find that getting out and networking, which I know was difficult to do over COVID, which is another reason why, certain apps, we will say the word Clubhouse again, because it's another way.
There, so that's a good thing.
It is. It does. For networking, certain, you find ways to get in the rooms and in the spaces where you need to be and should be, and then build those relationships. Mm-hmm. But you know what? How her and I love, because when we first met, it wasn't like, so what can you do for me?
No.
We met and we just got a vibe.
I think I know what happened. We were in a room and we're like, wait, who's moderating this room? And so between me and you, we just started figuring out how to take over the room. This is very early on, so we didn't know really how to moderate, or you were probably better than me because I was just brand new at it too. But we helped each other.
Yes.
Just instinct helped each other get through a really good room. Yeah. And it was a very knowledgeable room.
Right.
And so we made it work. But you were definitely more involved with the moderating. But I think it took both of us to just go, wow, how do we do that? So that was really cool, and that's what made our relationship work. It wasn't about, hey, what can you do, and, hey, buy some of my products. I mean, that's what people get on there and start doing, and I'm not crazy about that.
Right.
So I definitely stick to certain rooms, and I'm in a mastermind, so that room is very important to me because it helps me be not only resilient, but it helps me be responsible. Mm-hmm. It makes me responsible for the things I say I'm going to do. Ooh. Because as a CEO, you're kind of on your own time. But if you're telling somebody, I'm going to get this done by this date in your mastermind, you have to get it done. Right. So that's a good thing. So those masterminds are very, very good.
Right. So. And it probably, and also other people in those masterminds are similar.
And that's your alliances that you're talking about, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around. Who are the people that you like to put around you?
Well, I'm a really kind of a loner, but that's okay. But I love people that are so brilliant at what they do themselves that I want to be a part of how they got there.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not about wanting to get something from them. It's wanting to learn and grow and be better based on, wow, I wish I could be like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was somebody else on Clubhouse who I really loved, and it's Virgilia. I don't know if you know her, but she's a brand, you know, goddess. And the way she feels about branding and stuff like that, it just intrigues me and it moves me to want to do the best I can do at my brand.
Right.
Based on that.
Gotcha.
So those kind of alliances, you know, are very important to make you better.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, they do. They do. Absolutely. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the final 5 of the 5 challenges that we've been going over on this one, at least, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome, you know, when faced with systemic gender bias inequality, women often have a difficulty forming an accurate self-assessment. And I know too many people that struggle with imposter syndrome, and it's that little voice in your head when you go to do something and it says, well, why would you think you could do that?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, I mean, for example, in Clubhouse, for the, you know, it's an audio app. You can go in there, and if you have something you want to say, but there's so many people that will sit there and say, well, maybe nobody wants to hear what I've got to say.
Right.
I don't have anything worth saying, or I'm going to mess it up. This imposter syndrome that you don't belong there,
Right.
but you do.
Yeah. And that's probably why that app is good for them. But I don't think I've ever felt that way.
Well, you're a cheerleader.
Well, I don't know if that has to do with it, but
but I'm saying, you know.
I don't know if that has to do with it. But my thing is, when you grow up and you are strong based on what maybe my mom did to me to make me a strong woman, I just never look back at something where I felt like I wasn't supposed to be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
that's probably why you did so well, by the way.
And I mean, I still have a lot more to grow. I want to do so much more. I want to be so much more. So everybody looking at me, I want more.
Right.
You know, and so my you know, I'm a little bit older than you, Alia. So with that, I have so much that I need to do in my life when we don't know when our ending is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do everything as much as I can now. I have so much more to do, learn, grow, and be.
Right.
I can't wait.
I love it.
So I never look at myself as like I'm not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Or that imposter syndrome. I doubt myself sometimes, but that's not meaning that I don't feel like I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
the people that feel that way, excuse me, should talk to people and find out why they feel that way. So that's another coaching thing or you know, therapeutic thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that I don't have that feeling.
Sure.
You know.
When you, over the years of teaching, now we're gonna go into the skincare because that's one, but I feel like with dance, and I mean, I'm speaking from the perspective of I've always loved dance myself. Mm-hmm. To me, you're in such awareness of your body. I've loved watching dance competitions. There's just something about a woman will walk on the floor, and I mean, so I can easily see why you wouldn't have imposter syndrome because when you step onto that
you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. Like I had to see myself every day in the mirror. Mm-hmm. I clean those mirrors too, but I looked at myself every day in the mirror. That's what you do when you choreograph or when you teach and you see. You have to visualize and see it in the mirror. Right. So yeah, I looked at myself so many times. It's like crazy. I don't even realize how much you have to look at yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, when a student came in and they were struggling with that confidence, and they had obviously clearly some imposter syndrome, maybe what were the steps
I dealt
that
with a
you
lot
took
of kids
them through?
like that? You just give them such positive. You know, I've taught so many kinds of kids. Some that did their left foot 3 or 4 times when you're saying the right foot, and they're young. But then you see them blossom at 18, they're like flying across the floor and being this amazing dancer. Mm-hmm. Then there's kids that start off really strong and then they don't go where you thought they were going to go. But you bring everybody to the level that they know they want to be. Mm-hmm. And nobody's not teachable. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed watching the growth of kids. You know, Miss Christy. And trust me, I was very disciplined teacher. I don't care if you were 3. get on your mark and don't touch my mirrors. Because I had to clean those mirrors.
You know what's so funny? I was like that with my
I'm serious. Like anybody that knows me from this year would go, oh, there goes Miss Christy. Yeah.
That's
Don't
funny.
touch my mirrors. Yeah.
It's only my husband. I'm just whenever my daughter and I are my 5-year-old, and because that's his first, and he's like we're in places and he's letting. I'm like, stop letting her touch stuff. Like no business owner wants to come after these kids that
absolutely
touch
not.
everything.
No,
Like,
don't let them touch. No.
I had cell phone stores, and you know how you have the glass cases where all the accessories, and the kids would be put in. I'd be like, go clean them, or I'd be like, could you please not have your? We just clean those.
Exactly.
So I know your struggle. I know what you mean.
So just think about that. Like 3-year-olds and they're going up and just wanting to look at themselves. And I'm like, oh, but they didn't do it because I had that discipline for them to be on a mark and let's learn how to dance.
Yeah,
right?
amazing.
So they were afraid of me. Believe it or not.
That's how she got the
here comes
imposter
Miss
syndrome
Christy.
out of them. She was like, I'm scared out of you.
Yeah, and my assistant, who I just sold my studio to, she's like, yeah, Miss Christy's going to come and watch this dance. You guys better, so I'm still there on some levels.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk HEDO.
HEDO.
So, first of all, you have a busy schedule. So you've talked about your history, and you've had this long hours, rehearsal studio, performing on camera, walking the red carpet, running various businesses, and you've always needed to use quality skincare.
Yeah.
And now you tell me about the journey. So what happened?
This is what happened. Okay, so you have this beautiful podcast. It's just I just love it. I mean, this is done with great beauty and just. I love the way you have this all set up. So I had my own talk show.
Right.
Mine was a little less like this, very nice, but I did have my own talk show, and I did bring on some Lakers, and we talked Lakers, and that was fun because I know sports. I can name everything, and we did a lot. But then I would have some guests, and one of my guests was actually a friend of mine that I met through a different friend that I was in a magazine, and it was a magazine party. Anyway. Long story short, I didn't know her that well, but I wanted her on my show because she's an entrepreneur, 30 years old, and owns 3 med spas in San Diego. And I was so intrigued by that because that's amazing. And she would just stare at my skin, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Because I've always taken care of this, and part of that was taking care of my face, but products are different. Right. And she's like, I got to get you in. I got to show you what you need to do. Boom, boom, boom. So I did do some things with her down at her spa, facials and stuff like that. And she's like, I really think that you should do your own line. And it really started into stuff like that. And I said, well, if I do, will you help me? Right. And she goes, absolutely. And she taught me a lot in terms of, which direction to go when it comes to skincare. I could pick from a couple ways to go, totally organic versus, medical grade, high delivery, natural. And I felt like I wanted to do what was good for me. And the medical grade line was the way I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And organic's good, but it takes so long to deliver. It's got a lot of negatives to it, even though it's totally organic, but at the same time, it doesn't do what it could do. Right. So I got into the skincare business, and it's because for all these years, I don't know if I already repeating myself, but I was teaching so much and giving all I could to every student, and I loved it. I saw the growth. I saw things. I see them now being doctors, lawyers, good dancers in Vegas or whatever their trail was when they finished me. Mm-hmm. Most of my kids went from 3 to 18 and graduated. So I've seen them for almost 15 years of their life. Wow. Right? So I gave so much. And I watched them grow. I wanted to stop the clock a little bit to just see everybody growing up and I wanted to do something for me. Mm-hmm. And this is the time now to take care of me and do something for me. And that's why HEDO started.
Amazing. And I love that hedonism, it's, like definition wise, it's
hedonism,
self-indulgence.
Self-indulge, like be like selfish with yourself and just be engaged all the way, and the skincare line that I want to do is, that I want it to be your other significant other, and that's your best friend in the bathroom or in wherever you do your skincare, because it's an intimate thing. You're there alone with your product, and that's the most important thing that I want to try to brand out. That's why the brand is so different than any other brand.
I can appreciate that a lot because I feel that a lot of people miss out on the opportunity to really understand that part of taking care of yourself, aging gracefully, whatever it is, is actually being connected to your entire epidermis. This whole thing. A lot of people just focus on one area.
Right.
How many women out there, if you're only washing your face and never touching your neck, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Because by the time you start to notice something, you're now doing recovery, or you're trying to reverse.
Right. But it's only here, and then you watch other things. But yeah, you have to take care of your whole body, right? The dermis, like you said, is from head to toe, and the intimacy of that, the pleasure of taking care of yourself is why HEDO is evolving, and we're trying to tell a story like, hey, do you have this? Well, we want to be your friend. And that's what the story, and we want our inserts to be something you might put on your mirror to remind you how good you are, to remind you how special you are.
Ooh, I love that.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's what it's all about.
I love that. I know your goal is to provide some of the most high quality skincare products on the market today.
Yes.
With spa quality results that people can enjoy from the comfort of their home.
Thanks, Alia. That's true. Thank you.
Do you feel that, for you personally, you often share your journey as far as, like you said, you're a little bit older than me, but you don't look it, and you've taken such
I try. I work on it, really.
Well,
like
it is,
part of, I'm 62. I'm going to be 63 in about a month,
and
a little less than a month.
Yeah. I know
it's
you
crazy.
Get told you're lying. People want to see your driver's license all the time, and they're like, no
I
way.
wish I was still getting carded, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm not getting carded either, girl. Like, people always tell me I look younger, but I'm like, I know I don't look 21. Shoot, if you card me, you must want a good tip.
Right, exactly. That's why they do it now, right? But no, it's like, be your best you. Be your best you, and you don't have to feel that aging is a negative thing, and we're here to enjoy on this earth the best way we can be the best of ourselves. So take care of your skin, take care of your body. If you're probably taking care of your skin, you're taking care of what you put inside your body, right? And your exercise. If you're doing skincare and you're not probably exercising, it's not going to help anyway, right? So you need to do internally to externally take care of yourself.
Yeah, agreed. Very great advice. I'm curious because I love yoga because it's or flow, anything flowy. So when I'm not able to get to the gym or work out, I'm usually standing in my kitchen cooking food, and then you'll see me standing in the middle, and I'll be doing something, whether it's a warrior pose or I'm doing squats even. I do I do 10, I keep my kids are like, what are you doing? trying to keep it all, up in place, right? Because we're both petite women, and it's like I'm trying to. But do you still dance?
I do. I still teach a little class. It's with a small group because it pushes me to do what I need to do to work out, and it's so innate for me. I just teach, and it's a challenge for me to do the class with them. So I do the class, and then I do a body sculpting class. Just because I want to be challenged myself, instead of just me working out. And I do that too. So I definitely work out a lot.
Right. And do you find when you're not at the gym, you're still moving? Because I'm constantly aware of my
I'm not
movement.
a gym person.
Oh, okay.
I don't necessarily go to the gym.
Okay.
Every blue moon, because my boyfriend's an athlete, so we go and we do things together. But for me, I have my own little thing going on at home.
Yeah. I will.
And so if I wasn't dancing, I just do my own thing. I can get on there any time of the day, and that works for me. But sometimes gym's good, know. So it's your preference. But just work out, and then it's okay.
Yeah, I will admit. I used to. So a funny thing with us, I always had a home room with a gym. I always had a home-based gym, and then when we moved into the house that we're in now in West LA, we lost some space. So I was like, that's fine. There's a gym right down the street.
And then do you go?
The 24-hour, well, anybody wants not the 24-hour fitness. It's the, what's the other one? LA Fitness. At Wilshire and Doheny. And because it's right down the street. But then COVID came along, and I was like, Oh, so now my living room has a Stairmaster and a treadmill in it. And I'm like, just got to make it work, But I am kind of excited now. I'm like you. I'm not a huge gym person. I don't mind going every so often. I like the steam room and the sauna. Like,
well, that's a spa to me.
That's spa. Yeah.
I'd rather go to the spa. I'd rather go to the
true.
spa. But yeah, I mean, whatever the preference is, as long as you get some kind of, your body in movement.
Right.
That, movement creates movement. So when you're stale and when you're just, nothing's going on, you're going to get brittle. Mm-hmm. And that's what ages us.
Yes.
So it's part of the process.
We're kinetic. Yeah. We're kinetic. We have all these neurons and things that fire off. But like you said, and I think that's part of aging. This is what I'm talking about, the skin. This is why I'm saying that. When you touch your skin, you actually do something. Underneath, it's aware. It's invigorated. Mm-hmm. It's made alive. So I love the image of your skin product and what you're teaching people to do, what you're asking them to embrace. And I'm going to say this too, as women, we tend to be very rush sometimes, especially moms.
And you know what? Even with rush, you find that you can find a little routine within the skincare that you only do two things. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be the same routine every single time, because that gets boring just like a workout.
Right.
So you can kind of intermix your stuff so that it's not just always the same thing, and you see different ways of what you put on your face. It might make you look a little different, or okay, I think I like that. Mm-hmm. But it's still product that you need to put on. Yeah. And I also have to say, I do exercises with my face.
Oh, yes, so do I. I do too. Yes.
I mean, it's part of the process because we have muscles in there, and you want to work them out. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do when I'm driving.
I love that.
I do.
So I can just
and it
imagine
looks retarded.
Christy
I'm sorry.
In traffic, and people are looking at her. And
I'm like, doing things, and they're like, okay, who is this woman doing? I didn't mean to say that word. That was not nice. But, you just don't look right. Like, what's wrong with her? Because people judge so much more now when you see something so bad. But, hey, that's when you get your workout in. So you do your face stuff in the car.
Got to do what you got to do. That's what tinted windows are for.
Oh, that's what I need to do, is I need to put more tinted windows. Okay, I'll do that.
Then when you get the ticket, you get the pull. You
just one or the other.
You're like, I'm just, okay, let me ask you a question. What is, because I know people are like, how does, beauty and skincare and leadership? Well, let me tell you, when you feel good, right, your thoughts create your reality. And when you feel good about yourself, when you feel confident in your skin, you're going to show up as a better leader, right?
Absolutely.
No matter if it's for the company or even for your family, for your husband, for your kids. We're trying to
and
encourage.
Yourself.
Yeah. What is your advice, or what's your thoughts for the woman out there who is struggling to see their own beauty and worth?
That's a good question. I like this question because even within ourselves, we doubt, like in terms of our beauty, right? And especially when you get older and you remember your youth and you look back on pictures and then you see yourself now, right? So we all have our insecurities, and that's okay. But for people that don't think they're beautiful, we have to look at what God gave us and be so thankful for what we have. Mm. And being healthy is the most important thing. And so if you can think that you're not looking beautiful or whatever, don't feel beautiful, take what's inside and create your beauty, because it'll come out. Mm. And that's so much more important than any beautiful face that I know.
Yeah.
Is the inner beauty.
Agreed.
And that doesn't mean that we all don't have our insecurities, like I said. I mean, we should, because it makes us feel like, okay, maybe I can work on it or something like that. But it's okay to feel, the most beautiful women in the world have their insecurities, but we don't think that they do, and they do.
Right.
I know plenty.
Same. My cousin was a model, and I would just struggle. I would be baffled at how much she struggled to see her own beauty and her value and her worth.
And so stop the exterior. When we do skincare and when we're doing whatever we're doing, it's for our internal inside. Because if our insides are good, we're going to live longer, and we're going to be healthier, and we're going to be out of the hospital when we're older, because that's where it's important. The face and the beauty on the outside only lasts for we can't go there. Right. We have to go with what is going on in the inside. Yeah. Because we want to live as healthy and as beautiful as we can without feeling like our ancestors, our great-grandmothers and that, where they just shrivel because they didn't know how to take care of themselves. They thought that that's what just happens.
Right.
And we have to teach and know that we don't have to be like that, because that's why we look younger now in our situations, because we don't need to feel like that's the way it has to be, right? That all you do is you just shrink and then you die, right? So we can just live as long as we can, as beautiful as we can, knowing that we're taking care of our internal.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's hugely important because, you know, when I talk even to women who have, and this is very extreme, but like I've spoken with women who have gone through sex trafficking, and then they get out of those situations.
Yeah,
they're in a regular relationship, but they end up and most often end up in abusive relationships because they don't know. And, you know, even to the point that you said earlier, and yeah, aging is funny. It's not, you know, it's I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, but I think there's something to be said about the second stage of life. You know, sure. Do I wish, but then at the same token, I'm so thankful to be who I am today.
Right.
That it's like, I mean, I know you're 62 years old. And when you walk into a room, people turn, people look. It's not about
I'm not
your
afraid to
age.
say it either.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you shouldn't be. We don't around here, because the theme of this season is unsugarcoated, for real.
Right.
And to be unsugarcoated is to own that. I remember when we were in Venice, and there was a woman that was in a film with my husband's film project, and she wanted a picture with the director, and she's like, I'm so nervous to ask him for a picture, and I'm like, why? Know who you are, be who you are, show up, and go ask him for a picture. You know, and so I think that what you speak to is something that so many people need to hear. So I love that. I appreciate that. Those very wise words.
Thank you.
Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you. We
shoot.
like to give the audience a little fun, a little.
I'm ready.
These are 5 questions, and we won't make it too. It won't be too hard, but it's fun. I like it. So, your favorite dish to cook?
Okay. I make really good scrambled eggs.
You know what?
Egg whites.
Love that. It's my husband's dish too. Okay, what's the one thing you regret spending money on?
Music.
Music.
Yes. Because it's like a monthly Apple thing, and it's like I had all these albums. I have all these CDs. But you don't have a CD player anymore.
Right.
So now you have to pay every month for music I already have. Sorry, I have to say that.
No, this is true. Well, I stopped the subscription, and I just now buy the music that I want, because when you stop the subscription, you don't get to keep any of the music.
I know, and that's what happened to me. I had to get it again because I had all my music on there for my classes. So I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I'm saying that.
There you go.
So I do buy my albums. I do buy my CDs, but to have to pay monthly for something that I already have is...
Yeah, Apple, you're stupid for that. At least
Sorry.
let us keep
I
our
have
music.
to say that. Come on now.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, finish the phrase, the way to my heart is...
The way to my heart is a beautiful kiss and roses.
Ooh. All right, well, she's taking guys, but...
Yeah, sorry. I'm only thinking of one person when I say that.
I know. Summer or winter?
Definitely summer.
I'm with you on that one. In LA, you never know which day you're going to get.
Yeah,
right?
but
Bipolar.
we're still very spoiled. I'm from the Midwest, so you know that. So
yeah,
it's cold.
Would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
That's an interesting question. I like that question. I have to say the future. Even though it's a thought to go back, but it has to be the future.
But you've been there. You know what happened?
Yeah, okay. But I mean, it's kind of nice to go back sometimes.
I know what you mean. I know exactly.
You know, because people have passed away.
Of course.
So
of course,
it's nice to be able to maybe think that you could do that, but in the big picture, you have to think for it.
I thought it was an interesting question though. Like, you know, people are so like, oh, past, but I never thought about going to the future. Like, I was like, oh, but that's a good. I'm with you. All right. Well, so HEDO, where can people go check out the product? What's available now? Where do you want people to go? Start signing up for as it comes out.
Well, we're relaunching the different, which I think you saw on the beginning. It's the new brand box and the product, but it's right now. It's on HEDO, HEDO.co, and that's where you get it. And then it's HEDO Skin on my Instagram, and it's Christy C. Buss on Instagram. And I can't wait for this new launch of this beautiful line that's going to change the way you look at skincare.
Yes. You actually gave me one of your face washes, and I love it. The exfoliating one.
Oh,
yes, I do use it. It's in my shower right now.
Is it the orange, like the papaya?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's great.
Thank you.
So I can speak. I have tested her products, and I can tell you. And I'm very picky about mine.
Yeah,
because
it's like I said, the cleanser is probably one of the most popular.
Yeah,
products.
there's a little trick. So when I was younger and I worked in skincare, one of my jobs was for Clinique. We're like 18 years old.
We need to get together. You need to talk to me more about that.
I used to do this demonstration of exfoliating the hand, because when you exfoliate, that's why you always want to exfoliate before you're going to put on makeup, especially powder.
Absolutely.
Because it takes away the lines. And it used to be such an amazing example. Get their hand, I'd exfoliate. Well, first what I'd do is I'd put the powder on one hand actually, and it'd be in the lines, and then the other hand I'd exfoliate, and then I'd put the powder on, and it was very smooth, and it didn't matter how old they were, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm buying that, that demonstration. But the reason why I'm saying that is exfoliation works, skincare works.
Well, that cleanser definitely knows how to take off the dead skin.
Yeah.
And it exfoliates
Yes.
very, very well.
Most people don't know this, but on average, a night you develop 30 layers of dead surface skin cells, and that's what you're exfoliating when you clean. And I've always been big in exfoliation. I also hear Pharrell is big on exfoliation, also looking very young for his age.
Ooh.
So we're all on something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really, really appreciate you coming by. And being part
Alia,
of
thank you for having me. This was so nice, and I appreciate you having me as a guest. It really meant a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Well, we're going to have you back again, and I can't wait to celebrate. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
And to everyone at home, I do just want to say thank you for coming back to another amazing episode for you female leaders. There you go. You heard it. You heard some of the challenges, but what you need to know is you can overcome them. So don't be shy. Get out of the imposter syndrome. Start advocating for yourself. Do all those things that we talked about. Who knows what's in store for you. Thank you for being here today, and thank you so much for letting us be unsugarcoated. We'll see you next time. Take care, and bye-bye.
What are you still doing here? Come back next week.